It's no secret that many NHL players dislike competing with Brad Marchand. Anyone who doesn't have a spoked B on their sweater is quickly taken advantage of by the Bruins winger. However, it doesn't follow that those particular players wouldn't be eager to play alongside Marchand. The Department of Players' Safety of the NHL handed down a 6-game suspension to Boston Bruins forward Brad Marchand for his self-admittedly inappropriate behavior toward Tristan Jarry. The Penguins goalie was hit in the head by Marchand, who then high-sticked him in the face, though the stick violation was more of a boop than a bop. On behalf of Marchand, the NHLPA declared that it would appeal the suspension. Naturally, it was stupid, Marchand said, according to Fluto Shinzawa of The Athletic. I don't dispute that. I should not have done it at all. But is suspension deserving? I don't believe so. This much is evident in the NHLPA poll from this year. Which player do you least enjoy playing against but would like to have on your team? It was posed to 566 players across all 32 teams, and Marchand received the most responses. With 26.4% of the vote, Marchand also came out on top. Tom Wilson of the Washington Capitals was second with 10.7%, followed by Connor McDavid of the Edmonton Oilers with 18.3%. Marchand gained a new, demeaning place in NHL history with his most recent suspension. The Cam and Strick podcast claims that Marchand has received 8 individual breaks, surpassing Chris Pronger's 7. If the most recent suspension is upheld, Marchand will have served a total of 28 games of suspension and forfeited over $1.4 million in salary throughout his 13-year NHL career. Let's look at the negative aspects. History of Brad Marchand's suspension. Marchand received a 2-game suspension for elbowing R.J. Umberger in the head on March 17, 2011. January 9, 2012, Sammy Salo's low bridging earned Marchand a 5-game suspension. Marchand was suspended for 2 games on January 16, 2015 for striking out at Derek Brassard. Marchand received a 3-game suspension on December 30th for clipping Mark Borowiecki. The suspension of Marchand, who was spearing Jake Dotchkin, came into effect on April 6, 2017. January 24, 2018, Marcus Johansson was elbowed by Marchand, who received a 5-game ban. November 29, 2021, Marchand was given a 3-game suspension for slew-footing Oliver Ekman-Larsson. Marchand received a 6-game suspension on February 9, 2022 for high-sticking and roughing Tristan Jarry. Brad Marchand fines. $1,500 for slew-footing in 2011 and 12, Matt Niskanen. $5,000 for roughing in 2015 and 16, Landon Landeskog. $10,000 for trips in 2016 and 17, Nick Kronwall. $2,000 for diving in 2017 and 18, $5,000 for cross-checking in 2017 and 18 of John McDonald. While 8 suspensions and 5 fines may appear to be a lot, Marchand's criminal record is far too long. The routine line stepper has developed new techniques for being sandpapery. For what is arguably his most infamous play, licking Ryan Callahan, Marchand was not suspended in 2018. Additionally, he escaped additional punishment by fighting an uncooperative Lars Eller. He engaged in a fight with an uncooperative Lars Eller, and he also avoided additional punishment. Marchand received a warning last year to stop licking opponents during the playoffs. He delivered a sucker punch from behind to Blue Jackets defenseman Scott Harrington in the second round of the season. Harrington was sitting on the ice at the time. Before a face-off, Marchand also stomped on Cam Atkinson's stick, breaking it. He stormed off during a live TV interview when he didn't like a question, and he had a funny but odd post-game interview where he responded to each question with 1 or 2 words. There is no denying the effectiveness of Marchand's annoying playing style as the Bruins and St. Louis Blues get ready for Game 1 of the Stanley Cup Final. Even though there weren't 30 cameras filming everything I did, Fleury claimed that he was performing the same actions as Brad Marchand. After the match, the little jabs and licking he uses, you just couldn't see them when we were playing, but it was happening. In contrast to Marchand, who has a long record of on-ice infractions with the NHL Department of Players' Safety that includes 6 suspensions and numerous fines, Fleury has never been suspended for anything he did on the ice. Former NHL tough guy Stu Grimson, who now works as an analyst for NHL Network, said that from time to time, he crosses the line. That's something you take as part of the package. One of the most amazing players in the league is also part of that package. Marchand led the Bruins in both points, 100, and penalty minutes, 96, this season, in addition to scoring a team-high 18 points in the postseason. The odds maker Bet Online recently listed him as a 2-1 favorite to win the Conn Smythe Trophy for playoff MVP. Challenging playing style. Obama referred to him as the little ball of hate when the Bruins went to the White House in 2011 after winning the Stanley Cup. He has been playing in this manner at least since he was 14 years old when he was on a Nova Scotia youth team and had 97 points and 104 penalty minutes. According to the National Post, Marchand mangled the opponent's face mask that season after swinging his stick at him so forcefully. Marchand is one of the most despised players in the NHL, but that doesn't seem to be what drives him. He said, "I play for the people who pushed me along and the people who have helped me succeed. Regardless of what people say, I don't play." Jeremy Roenick, Gary Roberts, and a few other players, according to Grimson, needed to be physically dominant to support their offensive game. He compares Marchand to them. It gave them room and energy to play, according to Grimson. Their offensive element is inseparable from their physical element. "I have no knowledge of Binnington, and I don't want to alarm him," said Marchand. "We'll see how the game turns out after we play it." According to forward David Backes, a 37-year-old Boston Bruins player, Marchand is the engine on our team. The word that comes to mind when you think of Marchand is undisciplined. But those who are familiar with Marchand see him as cold. Even his bizarre actions serve a reason. Bruce Cassidy, the coach of Boston, said, "He understands a little more than meets the eye. Give it your all to gain the upper hand." Fleury claims that Marchand truly comprehends the fact that there are many ways to support your team. "He is compensated for success," Fleury said. "That means you should take every possible action to defeat a foe." Brad Marchand is all about that, and for that, people are going to hate him. According to Fleury, Marchand is more distinctive now that fewer players are willing to play that way. In Fleury's time, the agitating disturber was more common. Fleury claimed, "Every coach I had trained me to be this angry ball of hatred, just like Marchand is." The way Marchand plays now and how Fleury used to play are both heavily influenced by psychology, according to Fleury. "You want to make your opponent think more about you than about the game." When did he realize the conflict was over? When they were more concerned with chasing me around the ice than with staying in their designated areas, according to Fleury. There is no doubt that Marchand's style has been influenced by Fleury. When Marchand visited Calgary last year, Fleury claims he asked if he would pose for a photo with him through a middleman. Fleury was glad to comply. They exchanged a few words. The Bruins are aware that they would not be where they are today without him and his strategy. "What's the point if you're not playing for the ultimate Stanley Cup at the end of the year?" said Marchand. "If you lose, you might as well not even qualify for the playoffs because you are a loser like everybody else." Due to his constant willingness to put in extra effort to get the puck, Marchand is extremely difficult to play against. Additionally, he has a reputation for occasionally throwing out dubious hits. He no longer licks opponents, which is at least a positive development. With 32 goals and 46 assists for the season, Marchand is a very talented goal scorer as well, and he is always more than willing to support his teammates in a fight. He is the sort of player you want on your team and doesn't want to face off against very often. I adore the fact that the most vilified player in hockey and the most admired player in hockey have teamed up to form one of the best hockey teams in the past 10 years. What are your thoughts on the matter? Let us know in the comments section below. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to our channel. See you in the next video.